Good morning and welcome to my first ever video for my blog, Diary of a Mad Makeup Woman. That's me. It was suggested by an old friend of mine that I should do a video, my first one, on brows because she's seen a lot of crazy brows. I think we all have. I know I have been one of the crazy people with too thin of brows or too thick of brows, so I thought this would be a great first video to start on. Um, as you can see, I have one eyebrow done and shaped out, and I have the other one sort of kind of done. Well, I would like to show you the nose method for finding the length and shape of your eyebrow. I've seen the beauty department do it, but I have not seen anyone do it like this, so I thought I should share it. I have a brush that's a pointed, stiff, bristled shader brush that you use for eyeshadow. It's by Sephora Professional. And you use the outer ridge of your nostril as a guide with this brush to find out the inner length, the arch, and the outer length of your eyebrow. To find the inner length, you take the brush. I usually dab it in some powder so I can make a clear dot so I don't forget where it needs to be. I dip in a little bit of powder, and then I take it along my nostril, not pushing in, just guiding gently along it and going straight up, and I make a dot with my powder. So this is where the inner length should be, and as you can see, I don't have any brow hair there. Right there, no, there's none. So I definitely need to fill that in. And then I take a little more powder, and along your nostril to find the arch, you go through your along your little nostril, through your pupil, and up to your eyebrow. And this should be where the top of your arch is, or the apex of it. So then I make a little dot right there. And then I go along my nostril again, the bottom of my eye, right there. And then I make a dot. And that's where my eyebrow should end. And as you can see, I have very few hairs out here, so I definitely need to fill that in to have a more uniform eyebrow like this one. There are several ways to shape your eyebrows. There's threading, shaving, waxing, tweezing, laser, and the list goes on and on. My preferred method is threading with some cotton thread, just regular sewing thread, and you get about 6 to 8 inches, and you just knot it into a loop, and you take your pincer fingers and twist it, and twist about six-ish times until you get a nice little section in there. And with threading, you want to put the hair that you want to get rid of inside of the triangle, and with the opposite one, you open your fingers and it will pull the hair out with this in-between section. I'll show you. So let me switch my fingers. You put the hair you don't want in here. Oh, and my string broke. And you pull. Let me try this again. This always happens right when I'm trying to do something where I need to show someone. This eyebrow threading is it's getting pretty popular. I recently had it done at a salon, and she took too much off the bottom of this eyebrow, so I had to really fill it in. Anyway, so you take the hair you want gone into one of the triangles, and with the opposite one, you pull it out. And it tends to give the clear, concise line that a lot of women are looking for. It takes some practicing to get used to it, though. And I like it better because it gets a lot more hairs than just plucking one at a time, and it gives a clear line. I also trim my eyebrow hair with this awesome little tool I found at Target for $4.99. It's by Sonia Kashuk. Anyway, it has a black stiff brush bristles on this side and then a metal comb on this side, which is great for getting the clumps out of your eyelashes. I was using an eyebrow brush and those disposable mascara ones, but they just didn't do as good as this. I love it. And I trim my eyebrows because they're very thick and wiry. I brush them up so I look like the Grouch from Sesame Street. I brush them up and then take these small trimming scissors and we'll just trim a straight edge. And I'll do that all the way back. And this gives my eyebrows a more smoother look after I have threaded them. And for the thickness and thinness, I have done the thick eyebrows. I've gone the too thin eyebrows. I think we all have. I think it's best if you just take a little bit off one side and a little bit off the other and then go back and forth so you don't end up with those really thin eyebrows. My ideal thickness, thinness is kind of somewhere in between. It's a medium. I don't like them too thick, but then again, they can't be too thin. I feel like the top of your brow is the best place just to get the stray hairs and to cut it, to trim the hair. I would not shape the eyebrow using the top of the brow because it just doesn't look as natural. I use the bottom of my eyebrow to shape it along with the threading underneath and the plucking and the tweezing and whatnot and the trimming so that it looks more natural and I don't always look like surprised or grouchy. I think it just looks more natural when you sculpt it from the bottom. As for products that I have used probably a half a dozen or more products, but the ones that really stood out to me, whether good or bad, was the MAC Brow Set in Beguile. I really liked the idea of the product. It's a tinted gel for your eyebrows, but the brush is too long. They need to cut it in half because when I was using it, it would get my blonde hair up here and tint it brown. And then I really did look like the Grouch from Sesame Street. So it was a really good formula, but they need to do some modifications on the brush application process. I love the Great Lash by Maybelline New York Clear Transparent Gel. I use this every time I do my makeup on my eyebrows because I do have really thick hair in my eyebrows. They are wiry and they go everywhere, so this keeps them tamed until you wash them off. And I've had this for a while, the Brow Keeper by Younique, and I really wasn't that fond of it. I have seen other companies do these before, and so I was like, well, it's Younique, it'll work great. But the crayon part of it is not very smooth at all. It's very chalky, and it's hard to blend, and it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't, I'm just not impressed with it. The brush portion is what I love the most. It's a shorter brush and it has thicker bristles, so it's great for quickly brushing out your eyebrow hair. One of the products that I just recently started using for my eyebrows is the Younique and Irresistible eye pigment because it matches my eyebrows pretty perfectly along with my hair on my head. And it's really easy to manipulate and to use, and I like that it's multi-use. I can use it for eyeliner, eyeshadow, and my eyebrows, and maybe to cover some of my gray hairs that are coming out. I don't know, just whatever I want to use it for. I use a couple different things depending on my mood. I will use any of these brushes. I got them at this one, black one is a MAC. It's a shorter hair bristle brush, number 266, and this is for eyeliner, and it works wonderful for eyeliner, whether dry, wet, or like gel. And this one is an arched liner brush. This is great for a very subtle eyebrow. And then also this one by Sephora, how I used to do my dots. Sometimes I'll use this one and dip it in the powder and then make short little strokes. And then this one I'll use and conjoin sometimes with a business card to give that straight, defined eyebrow, and I'll dot it in my powder, line it up where I want it to be, and then make my line. And this way too, when you use a business card to do it, it catches all the powder that won't fall down onto your face and stain your makeup that you already applied. And you can do it onto the bottom as well, so you get that nice, clear, concise brow. And then I'll go over it with my brow gel. And then I'll just use this sometimes without the card, and I kind of lean forward so I don't get it all over. If you're using a powder or pencil, I always like the short little strokes. That seems to, for me, I like the more natural brow on myself, so it seems to work better. And I'll go ahead and show you how I apply my brow powder. I just start from my dot up here, and I'll just make, look in the mirror, just make short little strokes. So it tries to look as natural. I try to get it to look as natural as possible. My goal with makeup is I do some crazy eyeshadows and I'll do some crazy lips, but I would like the general face to look as natural as possible so that my eyeshadows and my lips will stand out the most. And I'll just continue doing short strokes. And then I make sure that my arch by this dot, that my arch is, the apex of it is right up here. And I'll make sure I go down all the way to my bottom dot. And you see there's a little bit extra, so I just blend it very gently, and then I'll get rid of this dot. Q-tips are my best friend. I use a lot of them. And I also go, after I apply my powder, before I apply my brow gel, where'd my powder go? I will get my Clinique Gentle Light Powder in 02 Glow 2. 02 Glow 2. And take a brush. I use my MAC 214, and I'll dip it in the powder and shade underneath my eyebrows and on top to kind of conceal any extra powder or any extra hairs, but also to highlight and define my brows even further. And I'll do it on the top too. You can see I got a lot of powder. And I'll go back with my Q-tip. And then I use my hand again to brush and gently comb out my eyebrows. And my last step is the gel to hold the hairs in place. And it also seals in the color a little better than if you just have it just on your face. And this is how I do my eyebrows. If you have any questions or comments or anything, please feel free to contact me on Facebook to leave me a message or a comment below. Thank you and have a great day. Bye!